John Wooden once stated, "Things work out best for those who make the best of how things work out." Greetings to the Chancellor and his first family, platform guests, faculty, staff, consultants, students, and our distinguished guest, Mr. Omar Karim. My name is Aaliyah Glover, a junior majoring in biology pre-medicine, and I am presiding as your mistress of ceremony. Welcome to the 43rd Annual Youth Motivation Task Force, where this year's theme is Reboot for Success, where students have learned Control, Alt, Delete.
Good morning. My name is Michael Farrell. I am an agricultural business major. I am a freshman of this proud university. And I want y'all to open your ears and minds and souls to the spoken word and that was inspired by Julio Breaks. And I quote, "There are two types of people in this world, those who are inspired and those who inspire. Those who constantly long for, but those who acquire. See, success is a ladder, and only few of us will find it. Even less will have the strength or courage to climb it. Have you seen the picture on Facebook with the guy that's mining? Why will you give up when you this close to the diamond? Don't let your success define you, but let your success be the finding. Because people who change the world do not let the world change them. Because there are two types of people in this world. Those who are amazed and those who are amazing. So I ask you, which one are you?" Thank you.
Never be afraid to start over. It's a new chance for you to rebuild what you want. Greetings. I am Davion Banks, and I unreservedly serve as the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff Student Government Association President. The word reboot means to start by loading the operating system or simply boot again. How can you reboot yourself? Sometimes you truly have to separate yourself from yourself and realize, who do I want to become? And how do I plan on getting there? What does it take to accomplish my ultimate goal? Reboot for success, to realize what makes you happy, what motivates you, what drives you to be great. What is your system operating off of? Hunger, drive, determination, or are you scared to reboot for success? Well, you shouldn't be, because Career Services has afforded us an opportunity to network with representatives from companies that are eager to work with you. So what are you waiting for? Reboot for success. Welcome.
Hallelujah. Do you love him? Oh yes. God Almighty. Are you anchored? Are you anchored? Oh yes. Yes, I mean, as my soul's been anchored in the Lord. Yes. Will you serve him? Will you serve him? Oh yes. Will you serve him? Hallelujah. Will you serve him? Oh yes. God Almighty. Are you anchored? Are you anchored? Oh yes. Yes, I mean, as my soul's been anchored in the Lord. Hallelujah. Will you praise him? Will you praise him? Oh yes. Will you praise him? Hallelujah. Will you praise him? Oh yes. God Almighty. Are you anchored? Yes, I'm anchored. Lord, I'm anchored. Oh yes. Lord, I love you. Oh yes. Yes, I serve you. Oh yes. Lord, I praise you. Oh yes. Hallelujah. My soul's been anchored in the Lord. God Almighty, mine been anchored.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Bria Harris, and I'm a freshman here at the university, majoring in Industrial Technology Management and Applied Engineering. And it is my pleasure today to be introducing our speaker. Omar Karim graduated from Howard University with a bachelor's degree of science in mechanical engineering and his Juris Doctorate degree from Howard School of Law. Mr. Karim was the first undergraduate student to serve 2 terms on the university's Board of Trustees, alongside many public figures such as former Secretary of State General Colin L. Powell, Black Enterprise founder Earl G. Graves Sr., and Citigroup Chair Richard D. Parsons. Throughout his career, Mr. Karim has been involved in many services beneficial to society, including contributing more than $600,000 in Banneker's profits to charitable organizations and various other causes, such as the Banneker Foundation in 2014, and serving on the board of the Washington Area Community Fund and Pyramid Atlantic Arts Center. Mr. Karim has received numerous awards, including the Visionary Award, the 2011 Developer of the Year Award, and the Howard Alumni Entrepreneur of the Year Award, and many others. Mr. Karim is both the founder and president of Banneker Ventures since it was established in 2005. Mr. Karim has been responsible for the company winning more than $250 million in contract vehicles with 2015 revenues nearly $20 million. It is now my pleasure to introduce none other than Mr. Omar Karim.
In the name of God, most gracious, most merciful, thank you, Bria, for that warm and kind introduction. Thank you, Davion, for the welcome. Thank you, Aaliyah, for serving as the mistress of ceremonies. You all's leadership at UAPB in Pine Bluff, in the state of Arkansas, and indeed around the country is needed now more than ever. Thank you to the Vesper Choir for the beautiful selection. Let's give them another round of applause. Thank you, Dyshanda Avery, a 2005 alumnus of UAPB and an assistant project manager at Banneker Ventures, for trusting me to visit with her at our alma mater. And thank you to the more than 30 consultants from private and public institutions from across the country, many of whom are UAPB alumnus, for leaving your families and jobs and coming back to UAPB to speak with students and provide them with the pearls of wisdom to succeed when they graduate from here. Let's give the consultants a round of applause. Thank you, students, faculty, administrators, and others who are assembled here this afternoon. I am deeply honored to be here with you and for the invitation from Ms. Cherry to come down from Washington, D.C. to spend a few moments with you. What a sight it is to see so many beautiful students here today. Words cannot adequately express how I feel to be among you this afternoon. I don't have the opportunity to come back to HBCU campuses as much as I want, and therefore to be here at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff is indeed a great honor. And to get an experience like your choir is a great honor. Going to Howard, I used to love attending assemblies and convocations where the choir sung, and it was always a wonderful, uplifting experience. I also don't get an opportunity to come to Arkansas as much, and being here is a great honor as well. The theme for this year's Youth Motivation Task Force Assembly is Control, Alt, Delete. And anyone who has ever used a computer know what you can do with Control, Alt, Delete. You can essentially reboot it or restart it. And we often give this instruction to our computers when there's an issue or the computer gets stuck. Well, today I want us to expand the meaning and use it to control, alt, and delete anything that we don't want from our lives. And I hope that my remarks today stay within the theme, but if it doesn't, I'm going to ask Ms. Cherry for forgiveness in advance. Bria shared my professional bio with you a few minutes ago. Now I want to share really a little bit more information about where that person whom you heard about came from. I'm like many of you. I'm one of 6 children. I spent the first 12 years of my life growing up in Detroit, Michigan. Things were oftentimes extremely tough. We had our water cut off in the winter. We were on public assistance, often eating block cheese or milk in a box or eggs from a bag. How many of you all had that before? All right, it's not that bad. I don't want to do it again, but it's something that our people endure. I saw a lot of bad things around me as a kid growing up in the inner city. People selling drugs, people who drank all the time, gangs, fights, burnings of homes, all type of stuff. Just like many of the folks who grew up right here in Pine Bluff, in Chicago, in St. Louis, in Texas, and Memphis, and many other cities where you all are from. But the things that my 5 siblings and I did have were love, parents who cared for us immensely, and a knowledge that our people didn't come from slums and that we were here to do great things. It was in the inner city of Detroit where my mom told me and my 5 siblings that we were going to be scientists and engineers. And I often used to ask myself, how in the world would I be a scientist and engineer when I don't even know any scientists or engineers? The only people I saw were liquor store owners, a few teachers, bus drivers, folks who worked at the auto plants, grocery store clerks, and of course, drug dealers. Although there weren't any scientists or engineers in our neighborhood, my mother refused to allow us to believe that we weren't going to be anything but scientists and engineers. And I stand here today humbly to tell you that there are 4 engineers among my siblings, and 3 of us are also lawyers. My mother dreamed that this would become a reality one day. She set this as our goal and refused to waver, and she made us dream and set this as our goal as well. Unfortunately, my mom died when I was 12 years old, and my siblings and I moved from the inner city of Detroit to Memphis, just a few hours away from here. From 9th grade to 12th grade, we moved in 3 different houses, and I went to 3 different schools. While in high school, I got very, very focused on going to college. I didn't want to be broke. I sure enough didn't want my water to be cut off again. I didn't want to eat block cheese. I didn't want to eat peanut butter from a can. I didn't want to eat eggs from a bag or milk from a box. So I said, look, I am going to go to college and improve my situation. And I sure enough didn't want to be working at Burger King all my life, which I worked in high school. So I dedicated myself to studying and hard in getting into college. I want to tell you that you don't have to succumb to what seems to have been the reality around you before you enrolled at UAPB, or what may even be the reality around you right here in Pine Bluff. Maybe some poverty, crime, gangs, a lack of high-paying jobs, not many black-owned businesses, police brutality. I want you to control, alt, and delete these messages, these circumstances, and recreate yourself, all right? Do what the rapper Nas said and tell yourself, I know I can be what I want to be. If I work hard at it, I'll be where I want to be. When I told my counselor that I wanted to go to Howard University in DC to study engineering, she flatly told me no, I couldn't, and to focus on other schools or other things, even though I was most likely to succeed in my school. I was an outstanding senior and vice president of the student council. So you know what I did? I Control-Alt-Deleted her. Right? I ignored her advice, applied to Howard anyway, and got accepted. Hello. Days after my high school graduation, I was headed up to DC to study engineering. Unfortunately, I didn't have money for tuition, fees, housing, or anything else. In fact, I didn't even have clothes. I took my father's suits and wore those up to school. However, I would not let my counselor or anybody else deter me. Like some of you, I was fortunate to apply for and be accepted to a summer program that Howard's Engineering School had. This program allowed 30 incoming freshmen to come in and spend some time on campus. However, I didn't even have money for a plane ticket or luggage if I did have a plane ticket. However, I had a few dollars from Burger King saved away from my part-time job and purchased a one-way Greyhound bus ticket for the 24-hour bus ride from Memphis to DC. I then went to Piggly Wiggly grocery store. They still have those down here? All right, right, well, they got them in Memphis if y'all don't have them here in Pine Bluff. I went to Piggly Wiggly the evening before I left town and walked down the aisles in search of boxes so I could put my clothes in it. I found the largest boxes in the store were the boxes that had Pampers in them. Y'all know those large boxes, right? And I asked one of the store's clerks if I could have them. And that clerk was kind enough to give me the boxes, right? And I took 3 large Pamper boxes home that night with me and packed all my life's belongings in those 3 boxes, which still had the smell of Pampers in them. The next day I boarded a Greyhound bus for the 24-hour trip to DC. It was during this summer after my high school graduation that I met some lifelong friends similar to the folks who you're meeting today. I learned how to post my goals, which I encourage you all to do, right? On the wall in my dorm, and tell myself nothing was going to deter me from reaching them. Not the counselor who told me I couldn't go to Howard, not some of my quote friends back home in Memphis who are not going to college, no one. I was going to do whatever it took to get my engineering degree so that I could change my life and that of my family. On the last day of the program, and this is so important to you all, golly, this is important. The director of the summer program handed out a sheet of paper to the 30 students that were there that day, and she asked us to write the name down of the person who had the biggest impact on the students over the last 8 weeks. And then she read aloud from the paper the names of the folks who people wrote. To my amazement, most of those students wrote Omar Karim's name down. A 16-year-old skinny kid from Memphis, Tennessee. As a result of this, the School of Engineering awarded me a scholarship to go to college. Now, I didn't know this 8 weeks before. I didn't know they were going to do this, so you never know the impact that you can have on people. Always be prepared. A month later, when I arrived back on campus, unlike most other freshmen, I waited in line by myself with no parents, no grandparents, or anybody to help me get to my room. So when people carried their luggage, I pushed along my Pamper boxes in line. What I did have were my goals, my determination, and those 3 large Pamper boxes, which had my life possessions in them. When I got to my dorm room, I unpacked those Pamper boxes. I folded them nice and neatly, tucked them under my dorm bed so that I could reuse them when it was time to go home for winter break. While at Howard, I was laser focused, at least most of the time, right? No girls, seriously, no parties. Well, until I got hooked up with the Noops later in my undergraduate career, right? I was on a mission. I became a prodigious reader. I read everything I could get my hands on, and I'm encouraging everybody in here to do that. There are a few books that I would encourage you all to read immediately. This will inoculate you and prepare you for corporate America, business in general, in the world. Number 1, The Black Student's Guide to Positive Education by Zach Kondo. Number 2, Autobiography of Malcolm X. 3, The Last Year of Malcolm X. Number 4, A Testament of Hope and the Essential Writings and Speeches of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Number 5, The Spook Who Sat by the Door. Number 6, Perspectives of the African Diaspora. Number 7, Soledad Brothers by George Jackson. Number 8, The Black Panther Party by Huey P. Newton. Number 9, The Secret. Number 10, Black Wall Street. Number 11, Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice by Dr. Napoleon Hill. Number 12, Why Should White Guys Have All the Funds by another fraternity brother of mine, Reginald Lewis, the first black billionaire in the United States. This is probably the single most important business book that you can read today. Number 13, Will by W. Gordon Liddy. And number 14, Marcus Garvey. Some of my days at engineering school, since my days, I've read hundreds of books and now have over 300 books in my library. Today, other books that have been added to my library, and a few of which I just encourage you all to read, include Good to Great, Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, On Becoming a Leader, Emancipation, Spike Lee's By Any Means Necessary, The Last Year of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., that's so critical. The African American Entrepreneur, How to Succeed in Business Without Being White, Long Walk to Freedom by Nelson Mandela, Peter Lynch's Beating the Street, The Well-Trained Mind, Anthony Robbins' Unlimited Power, and Hannibal Johnson's Black Wall Street. I hope I'm not intimidating you today, right? Okay. Trust me, knowledge is power. And the more power you have, the more influence you have. The more money you can make, the more influential you can be. The more you read or listen to audiobooks, the more money you'll make. Believe me, I made more money than LeBron last year, at least on his contract with the Cavaliers, right? I studied black history in addition to mechanical engineering at Howard, which was my major. Unfortunately, I was a poor writer, having struggled in high school, and I had people write my papers for me in the fall semester of my first year, until I found out that everybody had to take the final exam the same day and at the same time. So what I did, I went to the Center for Academic Reinforcement at Howard and struggled through the fall of my freshman year, and wind up getting a B. This center helped me tremendously, and I'm sure you all have similar centers on campus. In the spring of that semester, I got an A in my English class. Now I'm an incredible lawyer who can write very, very well. I would also encourage you all to get involved while you're here, like I did while I was an undergraduate student. I got involved with student government and with an organization that was a remake of the Black Panther Party called Black Neoforce. And the founder of this organization just got elected mayor of Newark, New Jersey last year. One of the highlights of my involvement in this organization was going down to Kentucky State, another HBCU, because the students had taken over the university administration building homecoming weekend to protest some of the policies being implemented at the university. I don't encourage you, at least not publicly, to take over the university while the chancellor's here today. But I do encourage you to be active in your school. I was voted Mr. School of Engineering, similar to how our colleague out here is running, as well for Miss UAPB. I was elected financial advisor of the undergraduate student assembly and served a couple of years on the board of trustees. While at engineering school, I decided that I wanted to intern and get as much experience as possible, and I had the honor of interning with McDonnell Douglas in St. Louis. Anybody from the Lou here? All right, okay. I also worked with Amoco Chemical Company in Alabama. Anybody from Alabama here? All right, roll tide, no doubt. And with Oak Ridge National Laboratory in Tennessee. Each of these organizations not only paid me to intern, but they gave me a scholarship. They gave me a scholarship. What a blessing it was. After graduating from the engineering program with my BS degree, I was accepted to Howard Law School. While in law school, my father passed, and once again, I had to overcome a difficult period of my life. However, several days after eulogizing my father in Memphis, who was a city councilman at the time, I came back to campus and was recruited by one of the top law firms in the country based out of New York. And I was selected to serve on the Howard Law Journal, the school's top academic honor. See, difficult situations are always gonna happen. They're gonna happen every single day. Our foreparents, they've been there, right? We were taken on ships and brought here, right? Everybody's been through some difficult situations. But the key to it is what you do when you're in that difficult situation. After graduating from law school, I moved to Manhattan, where I joined the law firm and where I worked for the next 4 years. It was then that I learned that I didn't want to bill hours for dollars and that I wanted to do something greater in life and decided to open a business. It was also during that time that one of the senior partners at the firm told me I wasn't getting it, right? Not getting it. Who in the world did he think he was? Or better yet, who in the world did he think I was? I had an engineering degree, a law degree, and one of the most prodigious readers and writers he had ever met, right? I had to control or delete this guy and the message that he was sending me. I looked around and decided at the type of business I could build and saw that my boys were buying multifamily real estate in Washington, D.C. and making a ton of money. And I thought, look, I could do that as well. As a result, I left this large law firm where I was making $165,000 base salary as a 29-year-old and went into business. Within 12 months, I had purchased several properties in New York that were worth multiple millions of dollars. I was learning a great deal about real estate development in New York, but I wanted to do bigger things. So I wanted to do things in the $10 and $20 million range. And after reading, right? We talked about reading. After reading an article in Essence magazine, right, I read about a successful sister who ran a real estate development company in D.C. So I called her up, cold call. I introduced myself to her and asked if I could work for free. I told her I would be her lawyer, I would be her development manager, I would pick up her coffee, her dry cleaners, whatever she wanted me to do. All I wanted was a chance. And you know what she told me? She told me no. So I went down to D.C. and I hawked her for about 3 or 4 months. True story, right? True story. And finally she called me back and hired me and gave me $400 a week, right? Just after making $3,000, $4,000 a week as a lawyer, she gave me $400 a week and I was so happy. I would have paid her $400 a week to work for her. I was ecstatic. I learned so much at this firm, and after 2 years, I decided I wanted to go back out and build the business that I had envisioned a few years prior. As such, in May 2005, about 10 and a half years ago, I quit this job as her general counsel and development manager, refinanced the one investment property I had, and started Banneker Ventures. Today, 10 years later, we're a national company with 5 offices around the country, a myriad of federal and local government clients, more than 30 employees. We've generated over $50 million in revenue over the past couple of years and started the Banneker Foundation, having given out over $600,000 over 10 years to encourage young people to get involved in engineering and sciences and contribute to society. So what advice do I have for you all today? I'm going to encourage you to dream today, to dream bigger than you've ever dreamed before. Just as my mom encouraged us to be scientists and engineers, I'm going to encourage you to be STEM majors as well as involved in other things that are for the future. The times are demanding it. UAPB has a brand new $10 million STEM building. And if you haven't taken advantage of this incredible facilities and the programs and classes that it has, then you're missing it. Go out today and do it. STEM is the future. You have to take full advantage of it. Science, technology, engineering, and math. That is the future. The richest people in the world today are involved in science, technology, engineering, and math. Back in the 80s and 90s, we were starting a new age. Today, we are fully in it. This new digital age is changing the world every single day. And as students at UAPB, you must be there to change with it. In fact, I want you to be the change leaders, the change agents. Even at our company, right? When I can't do something on my computer, I'm calling the youngest person in the office to help me out. Because they understand technology way better than I do, even though I have an engineering degree. And even though you may not see some folks who are in the engineering and sciences fields and technology fields in your neighborhoods, you must not allow this to deter you. You must control, alt, and delete those messages. And if you didn't major in a STEM major and about to graduate, Take some STEM classes and work in the STEM field anyway, as this will be the future. This is where the money is and where the opportunities are. Trust me. I'm going to do an exercise this morning that CNN's Van Jones did about a year ago, and that someone shared with me last night, right? How many of you have a smartphone? Probably everybody in here, okay. Now, how many of you have downloaded an app before on your phone? Okay. Now, how many of you have ever created and uploaded an app for your smartphone? One person. All right. 2, 3. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to have to talk to y'all, man. Right. For the rest of us, Van Jones, you know what he called us? He called us suckers. He said, here you are, moving your thumbs around on your smartphone. You think you're so cool, but you're making other people money every time you use that app. Every time you use someone's app, you're making them money. Van Jones said, you know what we used to call that? Picking cotton. Picking fruit in the field. There's nothing wrong with that, Van said. Many of our parents and grandparents picked cotton and picked fruit. But you deserved to be more than just digital cotton pickers in the information age. Don't be a cotton picker on the digital plantation, okay? You need to be uploading and not downloading. You need to tap into your genius, UAPB. You need to use that genius. It's in you. There's a Steve Jobs or Mark Zuckerberg in the audience. I know it. Okay? Tap into your genius. In the black community this past weekend, you probably had 1 million young people playing basketball. Why? Because they were hoping to get paid one day, hoping to become LeBron James or Steph Curry. You have 1 million kids trying out for 15 jobs. Meanwhile, in Silicon Valley in the tech sector, from Austin to Boston, there's going to be 1 million workers short in a few years. 1 million computer engineers, 1 million coders. If we aren't careful, it's Malcolm talking, if we aren't careful, we're going to have 15 black young qualified people for those 1 million jobs. And these jobs pay $60,000, $100,000 to start, and you often get stock options for much, much more in compensation. That, my brothers and sisters, are the future. Our parents and grandparents were trailblazers 20, 50, 100 years ago. Those like the great scientist and engineer Benjamin Banneker, whom our company is named after. Those like Dr. Carter G. Woodson. People like the brilliant inventor and millionaire Madam C.J. Walker. Those like Dr. Mae Jemison, the physician and NASA astronaut, who was the first black woman to go in space. People like Carl Moorhead, a member of my fraternity, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, who pledged right here at Gamma Sigma at UAPB. Brother Moorhead, a graduate of UAPB, who called me just this morning, owns several multi-million-dollar car dealerships in the Virginia area. Those like the visionaries who created over 100 HBCUs like UAPB, which has produced hundreds of thousands of black business owners, doctors, dentists, engineers, architects, scientists, astronauts, accountants, MBAs, elected officials, artists, and others. Despite 400 years of forced slavery, 50 years of Jim Crow, and another 50 years of locking up our young men and women, flooding our communities with crack cocaine and redlining our communities by the nation's largest banks, know that you are a people of survivors. Despite what we have faced, we have overcome. Despite these challenges, a skinny kid with a funny name whose father's from Kenya, mother's from Kansas, has become elected president of our United States twice. Do not believe that we are just descendants of folks who have picked cotton like some of our history books teach us, and don't be the digital cotton pickers in the information age. As Malcolm X said some 50 years ago, as long as you can be convinced that you've never done anything, you can't do anything. So let's do what Malcolm encouraged us to do. Let's wake up. Let's clean up and let's stand up. Brothers, pull up your jeans when you're walking on the yard. Don't be showing your shorts. What type of image are we trying to show our people today? And sisters, put on some clothes that's appropriate to wear outside of your dorm. Don't be walking around with all your goods out. But don't be walking around in night clothes, sandals, and robes, okay? Let us get into science and technology and engineering and mathematics like never before. Let us unite. Let us work together, set goals for ourselves and our communities, and move forward. And when we have companies to go work for, somebody else's companies, whether it's a Fortune 500, a federal government agency, a local government agency, or a small mom and pop company, or if you start your own company, do your very best at this organization. Commit yourself and add value to the organization while learning as much as you can. And help people along the way. Reach back like the UAPB graduates who are here today and recruit others. Way too often people want to talk about I'm the first black this or the only black that. That kind of talk is going to get us nowhere. It won't get us anywhere personally or collectively. Stop talking about that. This is Malcolm talking, right? We need to be talking and going about working together collectively. All of us together. We need to pool our resources together like our brilliant and bold parents did. Like they created the Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, just a few hundred miles ago. Study up on Tulsa, Oklahoma. Next, we need to develop what one of my mentors called the 7 S's. These 7 values will help you and our communities get to the next level. They are, number 1, social. Leverage the power in your social circle. The people who are sitting here right here today will be the people you have relationships with years in the future. Nurture these relationships. Encourage folks who are not here to get into the STEM field. And stay around successful people who will nurture you. This is critical. There are enough naysayers in the world. Control, alt, and delete these folks from your lives. And surround yourself with people who encourage you, nurture you, and push you beyond the limits that you think you have. We need to have a culture of values, of frugality, of modesty, of discipline, of honesty, and hard work. And we need to encourage our social network to have these as well. Number 2 is success. Stay around successful people who will nurture you and do what you are doing today and get educated. With education, we can accomplish anything in the world. With education, we can generate the financial resources and become financially wealthy so we can improve the lives of ourselves, our families, and our communities. This should be a core value of our community, to tell people that it's not cool to want to be broke. It's not cool to want to go to a restaurant with night clothes and a nightcap on like we saw last night. To hang on the corners drinking beer all day. To think that we have to be poor. And that wealth is for other folks. Or in our community, we say wealth is for the white folks. No, it's for you. It's for me. And I'm here to tell you that with wealth, we can do much to improve ourselves, our communities, and support institutions like UAPB and other HBCUs, which are so desperately needed today more than ever. I'm living proof of it. In fact, I'm going to make a pledge right here and donate $10,000 to your university. Not next year, not next semester, but this week, Chancellor. But you can't give 10 grand if you broke, right? You can't give 10 grand if you're walking around in sandals and a hoodie. We can't help our institutions and our alma maters if we don't have the financial resources to do so. Number 3 is service. Give service to our communities. Spend your time working to improve the communities that we live and work in. Don't just think that since you are in college that you shouldn't care about the communities around where you work and go to school. Go out and be a mentor to a young person in the community at UAPB. I did this while an undergraduate at Howard, and it changed my life. Get connected with what's really going on. Number 4 is sacrifice. Be willing to make sacrifices, financial sacrifices and other sacrifices to improve our communities. And use the gifts and skills that you are learning at UAPB to make sacrifices to improve yourselves and those around you. Number 5, societal engagement. Get involved in societal civic engagement, like you all are getting involved in student government right here on the yard. Let's be community organizers, like the skinny kid with the funny name who became our 44th president of the United States. Get involved as mentors in our communities. Get involved in the civic associations, in our city councils, our city government, our state government, and our federal government. Run for office and serve our people in the greater community. When we were in undergraduate school in DC, 2 Howard students ran for office in DC and won, and you can too. It's election season in Pine Bluff, and I bet if a student ran with the 2,500 students here, you could probably take a few city council seats and even get the mayor's office. Number 6, spirituality. Spirituality, that's what the Vesper Choir was talking about today. Develop your spirituality, your connection with God Almighty, the one who has allowed us to wake up this morning, breathe the fresh air outside, and sit here this afternoon. As a people, we have always been connected to God. In the past 20 to 30 years, though, all right, we have lost this connection, and the results can be seen across the globe. Whether you're a Muslim like me, or a Christian, a Catholic, a Jew, or whatever religion you believe in, as a college student, I want you to develop your spirituality. And number 7, finally, is succession. Create a succession plan from your parents to your generation to the next generation. This is probably the biggest thing that I can tell you today. If you can dream, and I want each of you to dream really, 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 3 times for the Noops, big, right? If you could really dream where you want to be and where the next generation of your children are going to be, it would change the world. President Jimmy Carter said that if you don't have a 400-year plan, you don't have a plan at all. All right? Finally, we need to build institutions. So I'm finished with my 7 S's. Those are core values. Then the next piece that we need to be involved in is building institutions and infrastructure. This starts with learning about finances and how money works, and then building businesses. We need to have our own businesses. This is America, folks. Nothing can happen without money. You can't go to school. You can't live in your dorm. You can't eat in a calf. Now, I know some people probably don't want to eat in the calf, right? You can't buy a home. You can't even die today without having money. With businesses, we can then help build and improve other institutions, such as schools like UAPB. And I would encourage every single person to learn about how we can do business with the United States federal government, which is the largest purchaser of goods and services in the world. Our government spends over $72 billion with a B dollars each year. And it has to spend over $3 billion with black-owned companies, or what the U.S. Small Business Administration called 8A companies. This program allows 8A certified businesses to receive sole source contracts up to $4 million. This means no competition. And there are only 5,500 companies in the program today in the United States. And the SBA wants to increase this to 10,000. And Banneker Ventures is one of those, thank God. Next, we need real estate. I want to encourage you to purchase real estate, income-producing properties. Don't go out and get mansions when you graduate from UAPB. Go out and get your income-producing property. It's okay to have a unit next door or a unit downstairs. You don't need no big fancy place, okay? Next, we need to have financial institutions, banks, credit unions, and other financial institutions so our people don't have to go to payday lenders every day, right? These payday lenders are killing our communities. Next, we need to build political organizations. whether it's Black Lives Matter or some other political organizations. We need power, and power is in politics. Finally, we need to have our own media institutions that will promote positive things going on in our communities. That's all I got, brothers and sisters. I'm so honored to be here today with you all. I'll be here till about 3 o'clock. If anybody has any questions or want to talk, I'm honored again for the invitation from Ms. Cherry, for the Chancellor, and the wonderful dais here today, and for you all to invite me to your campus. Thank you.
Easy goes all the wheel, way up in the middle of the air. Easy goes all the wheel, way in the middle of the air. Easy goes all the wheel, way up in the middle of the air. Easy goes all the wheel, way in the middle of the air.
Easy goes on the wheel, wheel in the middle of the air. Easy goes on the wheel, way in the middle of the air.
The big wheel run by legs, so that a wheel and a wheel,
Way in the middle of the air.
Better mind my brother, he won't go across.
Way in the middle of the air.
Your foot marks the man, so get lost.
Way in the middle of the air.
Or say the words of local shoe.
Way in the middle of the air.
If you don't mind, I'm slipping on you.
Way in the middle of the air.
Easy goes all the wheel, way up in the middle of the air. Easy goes all the wheel.
The big wheel run by day, but the little wheel run by the grace of God. A wheel and a wheel, way in the middle of the air.
Some go to church for the sing and
Some go to church for the sing and shout. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
3, 4, 6 months, days all turned out.
Way in the middle of the air.
Easy goes all the wheel, way up in the middle of the air. Easy goes all the wheel, way in the middle of the air. Easy goes all the wheel, way up in the middle of the air. Easy goes all the wheel, way in the middle of the air.
Easy goes on the wheel, way up in the middle of the air. Easy goes on the wheel, way in the middle of the air. Easy goes on the wheel, way up in the middle of the air. Easy goes on the wheel, way in the middle of the air. Easy goes on the wheel, way up in the middle of the air. Easy goes on the wheel, way in the middle.
Let's give another round of applause to our choir, as well as to our speaker. What an excellent message. I think he laid out what needs to be done. He challenged all of us, not just the students, on rebooting our lives. I think that message was to the students as well as me as an alumni when I go back to the workplace in my community in Davenport, Iowa, and hopefully you'll do the same, as well as he laid out the instructions with the 7 S's. I thought that was great. So another round of applause to. And Chancellor Alexander, I hope it's okay for me to make Mr. Omar Karim a honorary Golden Lion.
Oh, man.
That bear. So if you would come up. So we want to present you with.
Chancellor, please.
As well as we would like to present you with our token of appreciation from Chancellor Alexander to the UAPB family, as well as the Career Services, and it reads, Youth Motivation Task Force Program Assembly Speaker Omar A. Karim, thank you. Presented by the Office of Career Services, February 29th, 2016, Dr. Lawrence B. Alexander, Chancellor.
I apologize. I'm going to grab the microphone. Dishanda know what I'm going to do. So I took a speech class a couple years ago, and they taught you when you get an award from someone, what to say. So I'm going to teach everybody here, because you'll take this with you. So first of all, you thank the person that gave you the award. Thank you so kindly. I'm very, very humble for this honor. This is a heavy award, y'all. This is probably one of the nicest awards I've ever received. And to be an honorary alum of this great institution, it means the world to me. So then what you do is you tell people what you're going to do with the award. I'm going to put this right at the entrance of our main office, right outside of Washington, D.C. So when everybody come inside, we're going to put the pendant up there. I feel like I want to take the pendant home, though, right? I really want to take the pendant home, but we're going to put this wonderful microphone up when you first enter our university, and for everybody to see. And then what you do, you thank the people again who gave you the award, and then you sit down. So I'm going to sit down.
Good afternoon. I'm the current pole marker of the Gamma Sigma chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi. And to Brother Omar, we want to show our appreciation. So here's a token of it. This is our coat of arms made by DQ. Stand up for me, DQ.
This is incredible. To the incredible chapter of UAPB, right? The Nukes down here, to the pole mark, and to all the brothers who thought about this kind gift. It means the world to me. I'm going to take this and put this up prominently at the crib, so for anybody to see. Right? Or I may even bring it to the office. I got a paddle in the office that Daishanda gave me earlier last year. But this means the world to me. This social network that we talked about and the values. This is a social network. Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated and all of our fraternities and sororities and other organizations. This means a great deal. If I could do anything for the chapter, for you brothers down here, I love this organization and love meeting you brothers, and I'll be honored to do it.
Wow, I am so happy. We have had a great message today. Now, for a moment, we have a couple of more presentations, if you could bear with us. We would like to, today, the Office of Career Services would like to recognize 3 students that overcame some obstacles during their cooperative education and internship assignments. They either met or exceeded the expectations of the employers. And you know, there is a survey that's conducted each year by the National Association of Colleges and Employers. And the message that they're giving is that college students are not ready for the real world of work. Here at UAPB, we want to make sure that our students are prepared to make the transition. This program that we've had for the last day and a half, they have had the opportunity to soak up so much knowledge from the employers, the graduates, and all that were here. So we're so grateful. And in the Office of Career Services, I think we do a darn good job of preparing our students. So at this time, I will ask Tracy Knowlton to come to the podium, and after Tracy, Knowlton, Yolanda Riley, because they will make the presentations. And then after this, we have one more presentation, and I ask Mr. Kevin Blakely to come as well.
Good afternoon. Y'all bear with me because I'm going to tell a little story. I know you all have heard the saying, it doesn't matter how you fall, but how you get back up. So the students that we're recognizing today are being recognized for outstanding achievement and perseverance. So the first student that we're going to recognize, I'm going to tell you about that student's fall. The student did an internship the summer at the end of their sophomore year. We always get evaluations on the students during the midterm and during the final. Got the midterm evaluation, very good, no problems. Got the final evaluation, and much to my surprise, on the line that said, was the student getting to work on time, they rated the student a 2. So I picked up the phone and I called and I asked, I said, can you tell me why the student was rated a 2? Because when I got the midterm, it seemed like everything was going well. I was told that the student wasn't following company procedure as it related to time, which means that the student had did something, either wasn't coming to work on time, not coming back from lunch on time, or something along that line that had to do with timeliness. I had previously been told that the student would be extended to the fall semester, but after the incident of not following company policy and procedure on time, I was told that they would no longer keep that student. Now, the student wasn't alone. There was a buddy with him. That student had a friend that was also working, and both of them were let go for the exact same thing. So, true to our responsibilities in career services, we called the student in and we counseled with them and talked to them about the nature of what they had done and how it impacted them. That student could have at that time decided, oh, I messed up and I'm just gonna give up. But he didn't. He was given another opportunity to interview for another internship. So in the fall, he was rewarded another internship with a company here locally. This time, when I got the evaluation, the first one was good. The second one was outstanding. So he received a 5 in all categories. Did the fall and the spring semester. This summer, the student interviewed for another opportunity and got it. So now the student has been working this fall and is currently still working this spring, still receiving the ratings of a 5, which is outstanding. So can we say it doesn't matter how you fall, but how you get back up? This student, to me, has exemplified exactly what our consultants has been talking about these 2 days that they've been here. He took control of the situation, and he did not let it get him down. He altered his performance and exceeded the expectation of the employer, and he deleted some behaviors and some bad decisions. Mr. Marquise Ely. The certificate says, certificate of recognition. This is a certified that Marquise Ely is hereby awarded this certificate of recognition for outstanding achievement and perseverance for the year of 2016. So not only is he getting a certificate, but he's also being awarded a $50 American Express gift card.
So I have 2 students to recognize for outstanding achievement through the Office of Career Services. One student is currently a sophomore, and after her freshman year, she was so adamant about getting an internship, and she was applying for everything. So she actually received a co-op for the semester, and she received top ratings from her supervisor. So she's also received a lot of tasks at her position now, and she's exemplified leadership skills while on the job. So this student, this certificate of recognition certifies that Kiara Thompson is hereby awarded this certificate of recognition for outstanding achievement and leadership for 2016. So the next student She also started off as a freshman in career services. She got registered early, and she was applying for everything that I sent out to her. She obtained an internship through the Washington group at the VA hospital in Kansas City, and she received great ratings during that internship. She also received a co-op here locally, but when she got ready to start the internship, she was in an accident and she was unable to start work at that time. But she communicated with us, she communicated with her instructors and with the employer, and they were able to let her start during the summer. So Miss Sarah Haygood, she is here. She received top ratings. Her employer let her start during the summer, and he actually kept her on to work there after the summer, and she did a great job. And she also has a $50 gift.
Good afternoon. Just like Brother Omar, I've seen some things. I think I saw that bathrobe episode, and it's concerning to me. So we want to do something when we see something good as well. We want you all to know you're always being watched. People are paying attention to the things that you do when you're not realizing it. And sometimes we're happy with what we see. There's a gentleman that we watched for a while, and during our Brother to Brother program, asked some very good questions, was articulate, very serious, and attentive to everything that was going on. So that being said, we wanted to make sure and do something for him. So I'd like Michael to come up if you don't mind, please. We've got 2 suits for men with house for him. We didn't know who was going to win or what size it was going to be, so he can get them exchanged, but we let him know that we appreciate it.
Good afternoon. My name is Ashton Carlton. I am a freshman here at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, majoring in animal science. The quality of YMTF is directly related to the commitment of our supporters and their commitment to student achievement. When I call the name of the company or agency, will the representatives present please stand? But first, let me recognize our supporters, because without them, this program would not be possible. Silver supporters, Murphy USA, represented by Mr. Don Williams and Mr. Marquise Gardner. Thank you. Monsanto, represented by Mr. Malcolm Mathis II. Thank you. U.S. Forest Service, represented by Ms. Montez Ashley and Ms. Maya Solomon. Thank you. Sam's Club. Bronze supporter, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. Individual supporters, Enterprise Financial, Ekanawi and Associates, represented by Mr. John Ekanawi. Ameriprise Financial Matlock and Associates, represented by Mr. Lester Matlock. Ms. Kamisha Freeman and Ms. Bobbier Sweat. The Office of Career Services truly appreciates your financial support. With your support, our success is almost guaranteed. We value the opportunity for partnering with you and hope that you will continue to support our goal for maintaining quality out-of-class learning experiences for students at UAPB. Thank you for continuing to support us. Now please Now please join me in a round of applause for all of our supporters. Now, if there are any members of the Executive Cabinet in the audience, will you please stand? Faculty and staff, will you please stand? Thank you. If there are any elected officials in the audience, will you please stand? Okay. Watson Chapel High School, will you please stand? Thank you.
We'd like to express our sincere thanks to all of you for coming out today, especially on a little rainy day. You didn't let the rain stop you, and I'm glad you didn't, because we are pleased and delighted that you were able to experience what we did today with our dynamic speaker, Mr. Omar Karim. Mr. Karim, thank you so much for traveling all the way to Arkansas, to Pine Bluff, Arkansas, to share with us today those enlightening and inspiring and encouraging words for all of us, and especially for our students. It was a pleasure for me to meet with you on yesterday and at our office in our conference room, and we got to talking and we had a good time. And you're truly a visionary, and your life, and we thank you for sharing that with us, because it's your experiences that you've shared with our students that they can use as inspiration, and they can use as motivation to give them strength that they too can be successful. So thank you for your appearance here today. From UAPB, we thank you, but from the Chancellor of UAPB, I want to thank you for a contribution that you mentioned in your speech. Thank you, Mr. Karim, from the Chancellor. We appreciate that very, very much. We'd like to thank all of the consultants who came to share with us for YMTF. It's always good to have all our consultants. Would you all stand? All of the consultants who are sharing with us today, let's give them a great round of applause. Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to also thank and recognize and show appreciation for those who, for the Vesper Choir, and they've left, but they sang their hearts out before they left. We thank, and they've been already thanked, but I'd like to thank once again the Watson Chapel High School, who came out today to share with us. Thank you. And the Superintendent Connie Hathorn over at Watson Chapel, we appreciate you. And last but not least, we'd like to recognize and appreciate those who work behind the scenes to put all of this on. It takes a lot of detailed work. It takes a lot of almost around-the-clock attention to people and details and making sure things don't collide and making sure things go well. So to Ms. Shelley Cherry, our Director of the Office of Career Services, and to her staff, would you all stand? Let's recognize them at this time. Thank you. For all that you've done and for all that you are doing on behalf of our students, because it's the work that you do that assists them in getting not just a job, not just an internship, but a real push start in life. And that's what's important. They're getting what they came for at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. They're getting a credential, a degree, but not just a degree to have a credential, but a credential to be productive. And so we appreciate all the work that you do. Now, today is election day, and if you have not voted, be sure you take care of that little business and head to the polls today and vote on Super Tuesday. We have had our Super Tuesday here at YMTF, And we thank you for being a part of this program today. Thank you.